just moving along with like this harvest tide and moving into cycles, there is, a question of what did you plant in the springtime? What are you going to harvest now? And what are you sacrificing? And that energy of like, you're in the middle of the garden, you're kind of waiting for it to grow, but you got to own your mess and you got to prune, and there's some work to do, and here we are, come harvest time. And one of the beautiful things about harvest is that, in the days of actual harvest, when you go out to the field and you'd cut the crops and you'd take from the trees and you'd stock up, and stock up for the winter, you actually didn't know how much you had for the winter until you were done with harvest. You didn't know what plants didn't feed. You didn't know what plants went bad. You didn't know which ones were extremely abundant. Yes, you knew from like working with them a little bit, but come harvest time, you don't know your bounty until after the harvest. And so that's kind of where we're at with this harvest wind that's coming in, is it's beginning the harvest. It's beginning cultivating and cycling all those things up. Cycles have kind of a multifacet. We have our seasonal cycles, we have our astrology cycles, we have our own cycles, we have yearly collective cycles that we're a part of. And then we have ones that we go through ourselves, energies that we're working through ourselves at different times. Using that tarot example before, 6 months ago, I was a lot in the middle of, that energy of eight of cup, or not eight of discs, a lot of that. And where am I now is different, and it's shifting and it's adjusting. And speaking of like cycles, your cycles play into the patterns of your life and how those repeat and what is coming up. And I view life in a lot of ways much more like a spiral in a straight line. So you do come back to similar lessons, but just at maybe, a higher perspective, a different view. And it's looking, and it might be smaller or larger, is recognizing that for myself, there are patterns that I attract into my life, relationships even of masculine and feminine, both harmonious feminine energies and disharmonious feminine energies, and harmonious masculine energies and disharmonious masculine energies, and how those have played themselves out in different people in my life, how through different people have played those same roles and how they repeat or how they don't repeat. And so this is where, in the harvest time is looking at throughout the year, throughout the seasonal energies, throughout your life's journey, what season are you in? And as you're taking harvest and as you're taking time in this full moon to count up your store, is to take time and to really look at that and get clear on where you're at and where you're going. And that's the beauty of spirituality, is that we can spend a lot of time in the higher chakras talking about it, figuring out these higher concepts, thinking about them, feeling into them. But then when it comes into the day-to-day, it's how do you pull them into your day-to-day life? How do you apply them into doing things on a daily experience? And so there's these three energetic waves that you may be feeling affect you, that you can choose into. And I say choose into because I view that you have your own sovereign consciousness. You're the master creator, but then there's also these larger energies collectively that weigh on us, just as the moon weighs on us, just as Jupiter weighs on us, just as the sun weighs on us. And it's like your two sides, we'll say a sandwich or a cookie, whatever you want to use, two sides of it. You're one side and the larger energy the other side. But the inner side, whether it tastes delicious, whether it's enjoyable, whether it's bitter, whether it's a poop sandwich or a delicious sandwich, is up to you of how it tastes. No matter what the external larger energies are, you control how it tastes in the middle. And so that's why I say these are waves that you can choose into, and they are Bulupu, opening doors, and clarity. And we'll slide into speaking about the first one here, which is Nanabu Lupu, is an African grandmother Kratix. She's an archetype that they believe in. It's actually the Kratix that they believe in that created the whole universe. But part of her story is that she rests to gain her power to create. So there's kind of this theory of like, there's all this explosions of light and energy as the Big Bang or the universe is exploding. And there's all this energy for her to grasp and create Earth. And what she chooses to do first is to meditate and rest and take a nap and then create. And because it's about understanding that she really teaches us that our energy is a precious resource, and that sufficient rest gives you so much more energy to move forward, that the way is actually effortlessly. When you're running yourself, burning the candle at both ends, you suddenly decide, okay, I'm going to go, do this large project. And we'll go back to the harvest example. If you've been working on the farm all the time, and then you've been spending lots of time with the family and partying, or even just enjoying life, and then comes harvest time, and you haven't taken the time to slow down before the harvest, you won't finish the harvest before crops go bad. you'll actually lose things because you didn't take time to slow down. And so this is into spirituality of taking the time to slow down and replenish and amplify your flow. You may feel that call to slow down and take that time to heal yourself, to really take the part of the season before you jump into the harvest to look at, what's been going on. There's a lot of shifting energies that have gone on in your life, or maybe not, and you may be feeling burnt out, or you may need to have a release of heavy energies. You may not even be able to label it. There may not be an actual thing for it, but you just feel that it's heavy and that it needs to be faced and realized. So this is the time to take time to rest, introspect, heal, and then look into if there's any energy that needs to be released before you dive into your next work. Having downtime, having healing time is productive. Might be one of those waves that you're really feeling into, is to take some time to heal. Have the boundary, have the belief and confidence in yourself to set a container and a boundary. This is my time for myself to slow down and enjoy myself, even if that's whatever that looks like for you, as well as, taking time to introspect.